Alright, and welcome to the very first match of the Submission Grand Prix. And we're already getting things kicked off. There's Sakuraba putting Benny Hanna into an octopus hold, with them taking a big backdrop. We are expecting this to be one hell of a tournament here, folks. This is round robin, 10-man tournament. Submission wins only. You can only win by submission. Here, of course, you've got your first two competitors up, Sakuraba and Benny Hanna. There's an abdominal stretch. Really working over the torso. Gets pushed over there. Goes for a lunge, trying to take him down. Oh, takes that big backdrop again. Can look for Sakuraba to basically try and work over the entire body. He's probably not going to try and focus on any particular submission holds or any particular area of the body, although he has been targeting the torso. Oh, but there he goes into a sleeper, but he breaks it pretty quickly, gets out of it. Benny, you can expect to probably be targeting the head and arms. Oh, goes for a slingshot press there, and ooh, and there's a big backdrop on the outside. We do have count out in effect. That is the only other way you can win a match, is via count out. But I don't see that happening too much. These guys are all very good at what they do. Generally a submission specialist or very well versed in submission wrestling. So I don't expect to see any count-out victories. Although, as the tournament progresses, you never know. Somebody might get a little desperate and try to go for the cheap, quickie win. Benny taking it to Sakuraba here. Nobody in this tournament is going to be a pushover by any stretch of the imagination. Which doesn't mean somebody might not get an upper hand on somebody. Sakuraba get hitting that octopus hold in again. Expect a lot of counters and counter wrestling. Oh, there's a big enziguri. These are all really the top grapplers in the company. Not necessarily the best wrestlers. Ooh, there's that double head slap Sakuraba likes to use. Used to great effect to seriously screw with his opponents when he was doing actual shoot fighting with MMA. If you're not familiar with Sakuraba, you should really look him up. He actually began working as a pro wrestler in a promotion that did pro wrestling versions of MMA types of fights. Ooh, there's a nice arm bar. So he was trying to actually do that stuff. It's just, you know, pro wrestling is pro wrestling. It's a show. So instead of getting a tap out or a knockout in 10 seconds, you get 20-30 minute match that really looks good. But then MMA came in, and shoot fighting and, you know, legit fighting. There's a nice counter. And he made a transition into doing that sort of stuff and proved to be very good at it. One of the big names in MMA. Did a lot to progress the sport of MMA, bring it to the public eye. Was one of the early guys. You know, he brought his colorful persona and personality from his pro wrestling days into the whole thing, and, you know, really brought a whole new level to MMA at the time. And of course, as is always going to be the case, ooh, nice armbar counter there. In the ropes, though. Time takes its toll, and although he's, ooh, nice spin kick to the head. Although that looks like it pissed Benny off more than really hurt him. It's a surfboard stretch. Looks like he might actually be targeting the arms now a little bit. Getting him again. Arms always going to be one of the better targets for submissions. Sakuraba going up top. And nails a splash. Do not see Sakuraba going off his feet very often, but he managed to nail that splash right there. To going it on his hands and knees. There's a nice arm bar. He got the foot out. Nice wide base, putting a lot of pressure on the shoulder. Keeping Benny away from the ropes. These guys have really been training hard for this tournament, so... Ooh, blocked. Denied. So anyway, to finish what I was saying about Sakuraba, you know, time takes its toll. He started losing more than winning, so he went back to doing pro wrestling for the most part. I think recently he actually had another MMA fight. I'm not sure how it turned out. Ooh, it's a nice leg drag there. Whip, I should say. Dragon leg whip. Ooh, did not hit him with a kick. Drop kick to the knee connects, but not quite solidly. Sakuraba backed off, but not taken down. Benny backing him up with a lot of chops there. Gets a hold of him, and a snap suplex. Very nice snap suplex. Foot is caught. Hits the enziguri. And of course, for those who are new to AZW, Benny came in with Rory Fakestone as a tag team. Quite a dominant tag team at that early on. Very technical. Both of them are in this tournament, which is going to be interesting when it's time for them to face each other. As I said, this is a 10-man round-robin tournament, which means everybody fights everybody else. Big need there. Everybody fights everybody else once for points. 2 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, for, say, a double count out. 0 points for a loss, of course. Gets him and takes him around. Headlock. With his back to the ropes. Very nice positioning there. That's going to take a toll. Back elbow takes Sakuraba down. Nice recovery there. Ooh, and there's that spin kick to the sitting opponent again. Likes using that to the back of the head. You'd expect him to use it to the front, but I think hitting to the back of the head, you're not going to get as much, it's going to push you forward, snap you forward. You're not, if you get kicked in the head, from the front when you're sitting down, the momentum, you lose some momentum off the kick. Ooh, great big clothesline. Sakuraba right back up, though. He is fired up for this tournament, of course, with the magic of E-Fed World video games. Sakuraba here is absolutely in the tip-top prime condition. Best condition he's ever going to be in, ever, anywhere, probably. Because video game people don't get injured and don't get older and don't get tired, really. Unless it's scripted for them, too, in the back end. Look, step outside of the... Sorry if I'm breaking suspension of disbelief, but it is what it is. Sakuraba gets a hold of him. Ooh, tries to shoot in for something, but gets caught with an abdominal stretch. This big slap taking him down, or chop. Gets nailed with that big back kick. Backing off. Sakuraba maybe trying to catch a little bit of a breather, just to psych out Benny. Hard to say. So back to the background on Benny. As I said, he came in as a tag team with Rory Fake Stone. Ooh. And great big inverted suplex. And he shoots him off the ropes, catches him, takes him down with the crossface he likes to use as a finisher. Locks it in for a short time. That's going to take a serious toll. Could not get Sakuraba to tap out, though. Takes him over with a snap suplex. Sakuraba not getting back up quickly. Showing some definite fatigue at this point. Big backbreaker. Ooh. Then he goes down to the kick. Benny not getting up all that quick either. Both of them definitely wearing down at this point. He's taken down with big arm bar there. Benny has taken some pretty heavy damage to his arms through this. Ooh, great big knee. Ooh, denied. So Benny and Rory, big time tag team for a little while. The early days before we had titles for the tag team, we were just building the tag team division here at AZW. Ooh, nasty rib breaker there. Benny goes out. Sakuraba looked like he was thinking to knock him down off the apron, but thought better of it, I guess. Can't beat him outside the ring. Ooh, gets caught with that abdominal stretch again, but also, once again, too close to the ropes. Then he gets him, tries to roll him up. I think he's forgetting himself there. He cannot win that way in this tournament. Submissions only. Benny. Oh! Now that was pretty wild. Ooh, looked like he was going for a leg lock. Denied. Stomped down. Okay, so they come in, their tag team early days, as I've been saying. I keep getting... I'm actually keep calling the match, which is what I'm supposed to be doing, but also got to give you some background information if you don't know who these guys are. There's another big arm bar there. Sakuraba calling for something, perhaps for a finisher. He's trying to nail Benny. Benny keeps backing off, not letting him get a hold of him. Gonna shoot him into the ropes. Leapfrog. Gets him. Oh, and uses the crossface of his own. Too close to the ropes, though. Big kick. Takes him down. He's going to get Benny up. Gets a hold of him. Takes him over. Headlock takedown. Gets him up again. Behind. Oh. A little close to the ropes there. That was a pretty strong headlock or sleeper there. Taking him over into the ropes, though. It's like Sakuraba has really gained the upper hand, and Benny is showing damage now. His arm, he's holding his arm. So Sakuraba has managed to wear Benny down and focused on the arm. Now he's forgetting himself here with that roll up. You can't win that way. It's not really much of a submission hold there. Benny trying to get the hell away from Sakuraba, but Sakuraba getting hold of him. Oh! Ah! Massive kicks. There in the corner. Gets a hold of him and sending him into the turnbuckle again. Ooh! Huge dragon whip off the top there. Gets a hold of him. Takes him over with the arm bar. Is this going to be it? No! Too close to the ropes. Those ropes have been saving Benny a little bit here. Oh, big enziguri. Sakuraba definitely on top at this point. Benny is going to... Oh, and there was a big kick, big knockout blow. Oh, and just did it again. It was viciousness. we're seeing from Sakuraba here. Telling it, I think this is trying to tell him to just stay down. Oh, but then he sends him flying with a side backdrop. Another chop there. Sakuraba bouncing back up. He's definitely been in control for a while now. I have no doubt that he's recovered from earlier when things were a bit more back and forth. And I think we're going to get a finish here. No, he didn't tap. Rather surprising. Shoots him in, gets him, taking him down, headlock, into the ropes. I know I keep getting disrupted here, but and saved by the ropes again. That could have been a finish right there. Sakuraba, looks like he was just calling. Nailed him with that big knee. Benny not stopping. Headlock. Well, sleeper with the hooks. Sakuraba getting a little frustrated there. Perhaps we'll take rope break off on future matches. No. That's part of what makes this more interesting. If we take rope break off, then... armbar. He's going to be able to get to the rope. Oh, no. And that's it. Sakuraba goes over in his first match against Benny. See some replay here. He was so very close to the ropes. Looked like he may actually have been close enough. Maybe the ref should have broken that. Maybe a little bit of controversy here. Let's see it from a different angle. He definitely got his hand close to the ropes. Again, this is a video game, so it's not always going to be 100% accurate with its positioning. It decided he wasn't close enough to the rope to break it. Sakuraba gets that big arm bar, takes him down. Okay, I guess now I can go ahead while we're watching replay. I can finish what I was saying about Benny now that we know the outcome of the match. That is a nasty arm bar there. Just really getting that extension on it there at the end. Just too much. Benny had to tap. So Benny and Rory came in as a tag team. Keep saying that. And they were doing very well. We were getting close to the point where we had enough tag teams that we felt we could go ahead and have championships. Because, if you only have like 2 or 3 full-time tag teams and, the rest of your tag team division is just guys that are, work together sometimes or, just kind of team up now and again just to have some bodies in a tag team match against the tag teams. You can't really build a division around that. So we were looking to build up the division, and we were getting there. And then Benny and Rory, they were having a lot of success, and things started boiling over between the two of them. And it culminated in this huge, nasty feud between the two of them. It's probably the most brutal feud we've ever seen here at AZW. I mean, they're trying to break each other's limbs, and it just got really, really nasty. I mean, since then, we've more or less tried to keep them the hell away from each other, but they compete in the same division, so it's not always possible. They're both stalwart division guys. Definitely. And we do what we can to keep them from trying to kill each other. But every now and again they do end up meeting up, and this tournament is going to be one of those times. They, not that long ago, had a match against each other for the title. Benny beat Rory for the title. It was a pretty high-impact match. Alright, so that was the first match of the Submission Grand Prix. Alright, coming up next, we've got Alfred Adams who is, you know, he's more or less buried the hatchet with the over center. They kind of got tired of fighting against each other. It wasn't going anywhere. Nobody was really getting the upper hand in the feud, and basically we set their asses down and said, look guys, we can't just keep giving you matches just because you're getting pissed off at each other. You need to settle this shit. Because, you know, what's your end goal here? You know, why are you here at AZW? Are you here to beat the shit out of each other, or are you here to compete? Oh, we're here to compete. Well, then you need to cut the bullshit. You know, we can't just give you guys a damn title shot just because you've beat the crap out of each other for 3 months or something. We don't play shit like that in AZW. We are first and foremost about the pro wrestling. Which means going for titles and trying to increase your rankings in the division. So we made them settle their shit. So that's who's next is Alfred Adams and Spaz. Spaz, hopefully, you know, he's hoping to really rebuild his image with this tournament. He is a pretty damn good submission wrestler with jiu-jitsu, judo, and what was the other one that he trained in? Mr. Spaz. Paz. It was jiu-jitsu and judo. I think he wrestling, definitely wrestling, and some boxing. There may have been something else, but I've forgotten what it is. I think it was mainly the not Aikido. It was judo, mainly judo and jiu-jitsu. Mainly jiu-jitsu. And also a lot of wrestling. He's definitely got a heavy wrestling base, and then combine that with some of the grappling and throwing martial arts. It's really has those real powerful throws and suplexes. So, alright, I've talked about all that crap enough. Let's just shut up and get to the damn match. And here comes Alfred Adams. Insert copyrighted heavy metal track. There. And it's Spaz. Alright, and welcome back to the Submission Grand Prix 2016. Second match. Round 1. Just kicking things off. 10-man tournament, round robin style, 9 rounds of matches. Gonna be a while for this one to get finished, folks, but it's gonna be worth it. This is gonna be good shit. Ooh. Say, don't really want to get into that kind of game with Alfred. He's got them heavy ass fists. He is definitely a striker. Background in several martial arts, doing mixed martial arts. Lot of experience in boxing, kickboxing, mostly boxing. He was actually working in kickboxing is when he decided to move into pro wrestling and comparatively something a little bit less painful. Because, you know, pro wrestling is pro wrestling, kickboxing is kickboxing. He got nailed in the abdomen with a really nasty knee, cracked several ribs, spent about a month hardly being able to breathe, massive bruising. Just decided he had had enough. Decided to go into pro wrestling. And after the last match, the powers that be were called that there's supposed to be no count out for this tournament. It is actually supposed to be the only way you can win is to get your opponent to tap out. And that's it. Ooh, and he's already hitting his big suplex there. And he's getting him, and he's hitting it again. Ooh. But you can't win that way. You've got to make him tap. Alfred grabs his arm, gets him down. As a background on Spaz, how did he get that name? I bet some of you have wondered how Spaz came to be known as Spaz. Ooh, brawling on the outside, whacking each other's heads. Look like it was just Spaz getting in there. Well, Spaz, when he first started off, you know, he came up doing martial arts. He really enjoyed doing the martial arts and wrestling. He did a lot of wrestling. The jiu-jitsu, some judo, bit of this and that, mostly the grappling and stuff. That's what he really liked. Kind of wanted to do MMA, but decided he'd rather just do pro wrestling. You know, he felt like he could really do well in pro wrestling with his background in martial arts and wrestling. Ooh, nice sleeper. Alfred got to the ropes. Ooh, headbutt. And Spaz takes him over with a suplex. So Spaz got started in the business. You know, did his training, started getting some matches, gigs here and there. Oh, there's some of that kickboxing coming in with them big knees from Alfred. Nasty forearm there. Oh, big elbow drop. Don't see Spaz coming off his feet, especially not going flying like that very often. He hit that elbow drop like a pro. Just don't see him doing that sort of thing very often. Alfred catches him, but takes him right down, but into the ropes again. Spaz catches him, puts him over with another one of them big suplexes he likes to use, a Spazplexes. So as I was saying about his background, he got a reversal on the Irish whip, and he returns the favor. Suplex of his own. He was working in another promotion, not here at AZW. Little taunty taunt in there. And he got started, he was doing kind of this hip-hop martial artist gimmick. You know, I mean, it wasn't goofy, he was being himself. Ooh, nasty. Alfred getting up. Big DDT. So he was doing that, the hip-hop martial artist thing. And, you know, as I said, he wasn't being goofy or anything. He was being himself. That was really who he was. You know, is a little bit on the flamboyant, bombastic side. You know, young guy having fun, putting on a show, doing his thing, getting nailed there. Return to the favor. He's really taking it to Alfred. This is always the stuff that he excels at. Trying to, you know, work in the other divisions. He hasn't had as much success. Really, this sort of, the stalwart division and this sort of thing is really what he's best at. It looks like he's going to get Alfred. Is he going to get him again? Goes around behind him and gets him in that big choke that he likes to use. And is Alfred going to go out? He's got him, and there he is. That's it. That's Alfred's tapped. Spaz got him. It's his first big win here on the YouTube show. His first big win in quite a while, so it's good to see him making a return. And just completely locked in hard there, wrenching back. No way for Alfred to get out of it. And Alfred goes down. Has to tap. It's an excellent ring positioning there. Spaz making sure to lock the arm that was closest to the rope. Choking him. He had to tap. But I guess we could watch the replay a bit while I continue talking about Spaz's background and how he got the name. It's a bit of a short match. But that's what happens sometimes. So he was doing that gimmick and he ended up getting real sick. And being the tough guy, he didn't stay out of the ring. He didn't go to the hospital like he should have. And he went in to do a match and basically started having some seizures. Kind of started stroking out a little bit from the heat. You know, really high fever, working in the ring, the lights. You know, this is, an indie company, of course, but, they had ring lights and stuff, just the whole thing, way too hot. Started kind of, he started having seizures out there in the ring in front of everyone. He got himself healed up. They got him to the hospital in time, as far as everybody knows. He doesn't seem to have suffered any brain damage. But, maybe something definitely changed because he started being a lot more serious after that. Outside of the ring, very easygoing, chill dude. But when he heads out to that ring, he really stopped using that hip-hop persona. And not at first, though. I'm not, because it's hard to say whether it was the illness that was the catalyst for the change or if it was what happened afterwards. As I understand it, this other guy started really ragging on him before he came back. And calling him a spaz. And showing him, all this other bullshit. Showing clips of him having the seizures in the ring. And just really nasty, horrible shit. There's lines you don't cross. I talked about in the last match at the end, Alfred was kind of in a feud with Overcenter. Basically, we told him, enough is enough. This isn't going anywhere. Nobody really gives a damn. We're not just going to give you a title shot just for beating the crap out of each other. You're acting like kids. Suck it up. Get over it. Shake hands. Man up here. This is, this whole thing, if this did not happen in AZW, but if it had, kind of like this feud we got going with Angry Video Game Nerd and Nos Critic, that we're letting that play out because there's definitely some serious bad blood going on there, not just a little tiff over, somebody winning the title and maybe using some shady tactics to do it, but to get the title shot in the first place. I'm not going to go into that whole story, but there's a difference between a feud and a feud. And what, Spaz and this dude had going on was a feud. And in the end, Spaz won, but he decided he kind of took on that name, Spaz, to just remind himself about that whole thing. And, how, he's kind of explained it to me before, life is fragile, you can't take anything for granted. If he starts really feeling ill, he goes to see a doctor, he doesn't take his health for granted, and he's a lot more serious going out to the ring, and I guess it was just a combination of what he went through with that illness, and then having to deal with this asshole ragging on him over what happened, that, it just kind of transformed him and changed his attitude. So that's how he got the name, or how he took on the name Spaz, was from all that stuff. Then, I think I've rambled on long enough. The match was kind of short, so threw in a little story time for you there. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, bye-bye.